you could just say you lost it. Just say, hey, I've been terrified of getting a library card since I was 8. We never returned a VHS, and lost it in a move at some point.
What if I said it and they're like, okay, well, you have to wait here until we can do something. I'm like, actually, no, I'm gonna leave. But when I try to leave, they're just like, no, get him, and the fucking librarian just come after me.
Absolutely not. No librarian is going to come after you. That ain't their job.
I don't believe that for a goddamn second. Hello, welcome to Weeaboo TrashTalk, your number one weekly anime podcast, because I can't say unranked anymore. I'm sure we're ranked somewhere. I haven't been able to find it yet, but we probably are ranked somewhere. But you know what? Not in the bottom. We got numbers. We got some numbers. Not a lot of them, but they're in there. So, for everybody else, we got no numbers. Keep trying. I'm going to be positive here. Keep trying. At the same time, anyway, every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, we come to you live with our trash takes and anime news, host topics, and what we've been watching right here at twitch.tv/CLSP. Please remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming, and 1 free monthly Twitch sub for any channel. We'd love to be the channel for you, but if not, I get it. Times are tough. You know. That's like everybody. We will, how do I put this? Wait, no, it's a Prime sub. You already paid for it. It's not going anywhere. Use it on us. Yeah. There's no excuse. Never mind. Give us your sub. Anyway, I'm your host, Shields P. You can call me P. As always, I'm joined by one co-host this week. El Chefe himself, Mingo, at Cooking with Chefe on Facebook, is not here this week. He will be rejoining us next week, hopefully. Also alongside the world's number one meal enthusiast, Gallant of Gallant and Zeros on Twitter and Twitch.
That's right. You hear it here, folks. It is Thursday, the 8th?
See? Ha!
Thursday the 8th. Everybody listening on your podcast platform of choice. Shout outs to Curious Gorge.
I'm sorry? Curious Gorge?
You might get that reference.
Well, no, you said Curious and Gorge, and I'm like, so are we eating? I don't understand. Like, is it like a mystery platter? We're going to go to a buffet? Because I got to tell you right now, I don't know how I feel about buffets anymore after this whole pandemic shit, because that just opened my eyes to a lot of things.
Exactly how I feel about fucking buffets. They suck.
I like the one outside of my neighborhood for a little bit, until apparently they got caught with some health problems, and it's like, well, shit.
Yeah, I mean, buffets are... buffet is an experience. You go with a lot of people, you get some subpar food. Maybe if they have a place that does like sushi or like, live steak cookings or whatever, or a what do you call it, like a Mongolian grill kind of situation. Maybe you go there for that, and that's pretty good. But like, I don't know, you go to get a lot of people fed and not have to worry about ordering and shit, and like paying a decent amount of money for food that's middling at best.
You see, here's the secret thing, though. For parents out there, what you also go to buffets for...
you go to kids' meals.
No, not even just that. Not even just that. You go there because the kids will eat themselves stupid. As long as you make sure it's not enough to upset their stomach later, they're going to eat themselves till they can't fucking move. And at that point, the night's fucking done. The night's fucking done. They pass the fuck out or have hardly any energy, and you don't got to do shit. Buffets are kind of fucking awesome at times when you're a parent. This is episode 2 on Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. That is right? Yes, it is. And this week we're actually going to go ahead. I know last week was our premiere episode. We went ahead and kept it simple with what we've been watching. We didn't have too much news, but this is technically a news show, folks. So we actually will be going over some of those news topics that have been going on, including some labor issues and the influence of Chinese streaming on anime as it has been changing and what that means for us possibly in the industry. But we will go ahead and get to that later. Until then, we're going to start off with what we've been watching. And Gallant, I believe you're going to start us off.
So finally, started watching this season's currently airing, I guess, like first half of My Hero Academia, basically, which I believe is episodes, 90-something through, I think 102 is the last thing that was dubbed. It's interesting for me because this is the last arc that I read. So near like those last couple episodes, I'm starting to wonder, is this in the show, or is this extra, or because they seem to do a fairly good job with like making the filler at least fun
Mm-hmm.
and like fit with what's happening in canon
Yeah.
in decent ways. And with what I know of the upcoming movie and the arc that just finished, the way this arc kind of ends and sets up feels like it could be filler, but also I didn't read those chapters, so.
So here's the thing I'll say about that. One, to back
Mhm.
up for a second, because I felt the confusion in your voice when you were talking about halfway. I gotta say right now, Funimation, stop with this continuous number thing. Split them by season and give us 1 through 12 or 1 through 25, whatever it is. It just makes it easier for us to be able to tell what the fuck is happening with our numbers.
Yeah.
I hate the ongoing numbers thing. I really
I mean, it
fucking do.
looks cool on paper. You know what I
Right?
mean? To be like, yeah, we hit episode 100 or whatever is
Like
kind of cool.
I put it on a social media post. With people who care about that, put it on social media. When it comes to the actual catalog and having to manage things, just give me the goddamn number that I'm on for the
Yeah,
season alone.
just give me S5, yeah, S5 EP2.
Or prioritize your app and website. Make it a choice. I can do both. Like,
Yeah, on the discs you can number them.
can you?
Well, I mean, on the discs for like home release, number them that way. You
Oh,
know, so when you
okay,
pick up the
yeah.
things off the shelf or whatever, it says, oh, this is episode 60 through 72.
That's fair.
You
That's
know,
fair.
that's fun. You know, it's fun to look at that on your thing. But yeah, on the website, especially when you have them listed by season, you know, it should just be all one season if you're gonna number it that way. I feel, but it's
Nah,
bizarre.
I get you. So, but back to the point of the actual show itself, though. I agree with you. I will tell you right now. Sadly, everything you're getting in the season is strictly from the manga. Nothing is filler. That
Wow, really?
this has been the arc so far. And that's the whole thing about it. I wanted there to be filler in this season during the
Hmm.
class fights because I thought they would actually give them opportunity to expand on the characters more and make
Hmm.
them more interesting because they read very very well on page, but in the anime I was just
They
hoping
just
we
happen
get
so fast.
yeah, it happens so fast that you don't really get a feel for it, and they still like I guess before I've said multiple times. Like the reason I feel My Hero Academia is ultimately going to not fulfill me the way that it ends is not because I think it's bad in any way, shape, or form. It's the fact that I want more of the other kids, and this is effectively like where we are in the story for the manga. Kind of possibly is going to have been like would have been the last chance to really give these kids more time to shine,
Hmm.
and it just doesn't really happen. It's kind of panel for panel for the manga, and while it is a good manga arc as well, and it wasn't a bad anime season either, or a half season I should say, it wasn't bad. They just could have done way more with that. They really could have.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like where I've talked about before. I don't think you were here for that episode. I think I was talking about Skate the Infinity, another recent Bones joint about the
Hmm.
skateboarders. But it feels like Bones did do some cool stuff in there, definitely, in this arc that they animated, but it just wasn't really that special. Like it was solid animation. I commend them for that, absolutely. Uh, but for the sake of like what they did with their animation would be fine if they took the opportunity, like, hey, let's slow down for a little bit. Let's tell a little bit more story. So
Hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah, do
it's a
something
weird
other
thing.
than hitting. So this is the thing. I really wish they did that because My Hero is really starting to show that it is 100, episodes deep in a series that's been out for what, 7 years,
Kind of, yeah.
something like that. I'm not clear on the specifics, but like, man, this season more than most, and it might just be that I'm coming off of watching shows and second seasons of things that just don't have much recap.
Yeah.
But like, man, the constant recap, the constant like flashbacks to things someone said 2 episodes ago, like it just there's just like so much, like it feels like wasted time. And I mean, I get it, they have to have constraints, but also there's one thing that I really really think I really think that this season is still a product of COVID
Yeah.
in a big way, because there's the scene where Ida fucking gets to go all out, and it's animated by that one really good animator that they get to do their scenes, like the All Might fight and the Deku versus Todoroki fight.
Yep.
It's that animation, and it's the opening for an episode. I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
This is, you don't start on this, you end on this.
Mm-hmm.
It was really weird. Like, I didn't think it was incredible. Don't get me wrong. That was like the highlight of the.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's great. Like this feels to me like animation that I would hope, and because we get into this later, this feels like to me solid animation, hopefully without blood on its hands.
Yeah,
So, like it is solid. Like, this is not a slight against the animation that they're doing within the show. It's just a matter of like kind of where it's placed, like how it's being storyboarded and production wise. Like this how they're doing everything. Like it
yeah.
really. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, especially with that, it really makes me wonder because I almost missed that
Mm-hmm.
because of how they're doing like recaps or whatever. I
Yep.
was like, I had gotten used to skipping the first like minute or so because they're just like re-saying what they did at the end of the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Except this time, I was like, wait, this is entirely different. What the hell is happening? I've been waiting for something like this because one of the things I've compared it to is the last season of Haikyuu had a fair bit of recap every episode,
Yep.
but the interesting thing was they would be saying the same lines, but you would have another shot of the court,
Yeah.
or another shot of like the characters in action while they're
More
doing what they're
perspective.
doing. Yeah, exactly. Someone else is looking at it, the action that you saw at the end of that episode happening in a different way. And the way we actually watched that, because it was coming out weekly and my mom loves that show, she suggested we watch like the previous week's episode before we dive in and watch the new one. So
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of time to analyze a lot of what was happening in each episode, and man, those like little moments were like fairly special, and
Yeah.
it like made the recap feel like worth something. And so like I really wonder if that whole Ida scene was meant to like cap off an episode, but then just like COVID constraints and them having to fit everything into so much time and needing so many episodes, just it really does just make me wonder about that.
Yeah. Because at least in the manga format, I'd have to go back to double check, but I feel in the manga format, that moment with Ida, where he gets his moment to shine,
Mhm.
was a much more massive panel in terms of what was going on around him.
It
So,
was, but like the thing is also because it was manga, it felt like smaller. This was like the one scene in the whole arc where they like took the liberty and like someone thought out and planned what that scene and what that fight was going to like look like, other than just one for oneing it.
no, I get you. I get you. Like, it is, like, I'm happy that it got care put into it, but I still feel like, and I feel it's kind of like the general consensus here of like, yeah, but I don't know that was the right place to put it.
Hmm.
It feels very much like the job needed to get done rather than they were trying to make this a very stand outish moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I get you there, but like I don't mind it either because I think that's maybe Ida's coolest moment, and it's kind of his like it's getting to like I really, when I first saw it I was like, wait, they're doing this for Ida, yo, like that just didn't seem where they would put it, but I mean I guess it's truly the one spot that you know someone does get such a commanding lead that's not just Bakugo.
Yeah,
I don't need another Bakugo dominates scene.
no, definitely. And I like it because I'm hoping against hope that what this means in the long run is that in the current arc we have going on in the manga right now, that was a reminder for everybody, hey, Ida's still here. Ida was like a pretty important character when this series started, and then
Yeah.
kind of got sidelined. Uh, because Ida is actually pretty goddamn powerful. And they even hint at
Yeah,
that with the way that he was able to evolve for this particular season. And then,
yeah.
uh, nothing spoilery about it, but like, I didn't feel there was really a standout Ida moment in the arc that's finished in the manga, which you would expect. This is kind of like also why I was hoping to expand this, because if they don't expand here, maybe they expand in the not next two arcs that are covering this season, but the arc they're leading into. I hope that they expand more in there because a lot of the kids they deserve more time to shine. Or as a reminder of like Ida is this powerful, I'm hoping he plays a much bigger role in this current final arc we are in the manga because that was a big thing of like, oh shit, no, he's actually a powerhouse too. He's just not necessarily a part of the big three, but he is a
Hmm.
powerhouse because I feel like the manga wasn't sure whether or not he wanted to do a whole big three or not. because, and we haven't gotten to it just yet. Have you actually finished the class fight arc?
I am caught up with
Okay.
everything that has been
So
dubbed.
you're getting arcs out of order.
Okay, this is what I figured because I remember picking up the manga and being like, all right, where did I leave off? And then I saw the next chapter and it was the villains arc, and I was like, But then they were doing this stuff with the like Christmas stuff, and I'm like, hold on, these were not the chapters after what I read. I remember looking them up, and then but then like the thing comes out where they mention like the three of them going to work with Endeavor, and I'm like, okay, but I know that's where it goes at least for the movie, and think the I think the series too. So I was very confused there. That's why I was so okay. Out of order makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So effectively, what you should be getting up until the whole point of the key moment, like the Christmas stuff, that was appropriate. The whole thing about saying to go, where the internship, that was appropriate. But that particular scene where they have Hawks in that room talking to those officials, from that point on, you follow Hawks into the
right
the later arc. It's not spoiler for anybody.
Yeah,
the later
villains
arc.
arc. We've even talked about it before.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
fine.
So
it's
the My Villain
no
Academia
super big
arc.
spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it leads into that, and then it comes back to them training with Endeavor.
Okay. So I guess we'll get a little bit of this with them and Endeavor, and then are they so have they said what they're going to do? Are we getting the villains arc this time, or
supposedly they're saying it's all going to fit in the season?
And they're doing things out of order? It's interesting. It's funny because I have been spoiled for things in the villains arc.
Yeah.
And specifically, there's a part early in the season where Hawks and Endeavor are about to like fight, and then Endeavor gets called by name, and I was like, that was weird. And I was like, oh, I remember what I've heard.
Yeah.
And other things are dropped about that as well, and I was like, I'm catching all of these. That's nice. But yeah, so that's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the whole business with that. But
no, definitely. I forgot that happens to season 2, and that's right. They go back on that. But yeah, so like that's kind of like where it is, because effectively it's supposed to be like, oh hey, they go off and do like a little bit of training, like the tiniest bit, but then you go ahead and follow Hawks into the villain arc. Then you come back for what is effectively the launch into the last arc we just finished up in the manga. That leads into this now final arc in the manga. Yeah. So I don't know, like I don't understand their idea behind it. I guess we'll see what happens, because I still stand by the thought that I don't feel comfortable with the fact that villain arc's going to be in this season. Let me pull it up.
I mean, that arc took up what, 6 to 8 months in the manga?
Kinda. Hold on. Story arcs, and it will go ahead and be.
Because isn't the villains arc where people were like, oh, okay, this isn't just a kiddie manga or whatever?
Yeah, well, because okay, so in terms of because it goes straight from the what is known as the class, the joint training arc with the two classes, and then that goes into the actual villain arc. So in the villain arc, it is 23 chapters roughly. And then the Endeavor arc is, well, they say 12. They say 12. I don't really believe that. Oh no, I was wrong. No,
chapters for the Endeavor arc?
They're saying that. I'm pretty sure that a lot of that
run
is
for like a year.
For the Endeavor arc?
Yeah.
No. Endeavor is a very short arc. The training with Endeavor has a very short arc. In all honesty.
Oh, I'm sorry. The arc before last, then.
No, yeah, the arc before last is 54 chapters.
Okay, that's what I thought the Endeavor arc meant. Never mind.
Yeah. No, so like that's the big thing.
So they're hoping to get to that arc next year, I'm guessing.
That would appear to be the plan. I don't know. And then
spend a whole 24 on that, I guess.
I don't know if they'll fit that in 24, but that's what seems to be the case.
Is there a decent halfway point there, at least somewhere?
No, not that I would think of. No, that arc
is there a lot? Is there a lot of like? Is there Bleach style a lot of like fight chapters though? Or it's just some ass nonsense.
No, not really.
Huh. All right.
I'll give them that. Like it does not. It doesn't make you that chapter that arc at one point becomes just pure desperation
Hmm.
pretty early on. So they don't really hold you on any one fight too much. They kind of make it a thing of like, okay, we've got to keep going. I can see some places where maybe they do cut it off, but I don't see why they would choose to do so because they're gonna have to like the if they do cut off that arc they seem to be trying so hard to get to in the anime, they're gonna be blue
Hmm.
balling a lot of people for a year for no particular reason. Like,
Then they might go. They might go longer.
yeah,
It's stranger things have happened.
yeah. Like, if anything, I would like to see them do kind of like, and I know some people might get PTSD from this, but I liked it personally. I would like to see them expand on that arc, like they did with the fourth Great Ninja War arc in the Naruto anime, where you get to see more kids doing more things.
Yeah, that might be what they do. They might cut to more like fights or whatever other people happening because this series is built on like watching your faves.
Exactly, exactly. Like, because
And I do have to say, even up to this point, I do still love all the time that they give to the other characters. I understand that's not gonna last forever,
mm-hmm.
but I do have my other favorites that aren't,
Yeah, because my
eh.
hopes for it is like we're already at apparently 12 chapters in the final arc, as we're like everyone keeps saying right now, and not much has fucking happened. Like,
Hmm. I keep going on Twitter and looking at the spoilers for it because like I'm so spoiler averse at this point, or not. I'm so like I don't care about spoilers at this point that I just want
yeah,
to see what's going on, and I'm like, I need to read this. I want to get here.
yeah, like it's good.
Because
It's
like
honestly, go
it's
ahead.
like it's like finally like I mean I'm not gonna mention any specifics, but like finally I'm getting like the arcs that I kind of want out of certain characters that I'm seeing. It's like okay, good. But also like knowing how long it takes to get there actually doesn't feel bad. I'm like oh this feels earned. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're this far in. This is like the final arc, and this is the stuff that's happening. Like that I'm just like seeing out of context, and I'm like yeah that feels some of this feels earned. I haven't been reading it, but like you know it's cool that we got to this point and didn't like start there.
Like I just want to see the arc that just finished up the manga in anime format for the sake of I felt some of the panel I felt a majority of the paneling in the final or in the last arc we just had
Hmm.
wasn't its best that it could have been just for
Sure. Yeah.
deciphering things because a lot's going on. Like I said, I've never put that on the artists or the writers or anything of nature, anyone working on the whole project as a whole. It's just a matter of a lot is fucking going on in that arc. So I would like that to slow the fuck down. I like them to slow the fuck down in general because, like I said, this entire arc, like it's just not gonna. I don't understand how they intend to really get the villain arc of 23 chapters in and done before the end of this season. Unless they are going to do something really weird, which I guess technically they could
They
do.
could go longer than 24, but has it only been said to be 24 or 25?
Yeah, they've already said it's going to be in the 20s. Yeah. They've already said it's going to stop there. So they could, like, I guess.
I mean, it could go 27 or something like that. They could stretch for what they need.
No, I wouldn't say that. I still don't feel that would be enough, if I'm being completely honest.
Hmm.
Personally. I don't know how they plan it out, in the actual anime format. But I mean, I could see them. It'd be kind of cheap if they did this, but I could see them maybe doing the entire Endeavor arc and just the beginning of the villain arc before things pop off.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm in agreement. The season's been, I guess, solid. It's just you can tell like yeah, like you've been saying, this has been going on for 100 so on episodes. Like this is really the part where it's like okay, everyone's figured out the format of training, heroes, training heroes, training heroes. Because after this whole area is when
Hmm.
things are like yeah, we're done with that now. Like
Yeah,
it's
we're
time.
just
It's
we're moving to Endgame.
yeah, we're moving to the end game, and that is just over and done with. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add for that.
It's that like my main thing is just all the recap stuff just feels like
Mm-hmm.
kind of unnecessary. And
Definitely.
but also if they're buying time because this is it's feeling the effects of COVID, I understand.
Yeah.
I've been through things that have so much worse filler than this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a minute I skip at the beginning or whatever. You know, it ain't nothing. It ain't destroying my time, but it's like it's nice when like if I want to skip the opening, I only skip the opening. So I don't know. It's fun. I will say uh the part where during the middle of a fight Midoriya goes into a dream sequence felt just as jarring in the anime as it did in the manga, which I loved.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
how long it feels to go on and out of nowhere. Like I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to this because I remember reading it feeling like, hey, what the fuck is happening? I was watching it going, yeah, this is how I felt. I loved it though. I was like, there's a good, there's a good feeling of what the fuck is this? Who is this? What is going on? And then being like, oh, actually, I'm cool with everything that's happening here at the same time. It kind of gave me the same feeling, and like, and because from here on out, I don't know how things happen. I'm excited to watch more, but I'm probably not going to get to it for another 3 months because I'm waiting to watch the dub with my mom. So, but I might go just pick up the manga. I don't know.
It's all
I
on
do just
Viz.
want to read it. Yeah. I
It's
should
all on
just
Viz.
get the Viz app and just go in at some point and catch up.
Oh, as a quick little thing for everybody, because I mentioned I would be going through them. I'm disappointed to say, because I mean Viz is doing a great job, so I'm not mad that they're the top product. But Viz is doing a great job at like $2.99 a month for a subscription. Mangamo is okay for the most part. I'm not mad about it for its $5.99 pricing, as like it's understandable for the number of different licenses they're getting, but their actual manga reader is like you can either go vertically or horizontally, but they do not put together full page spreads. They keep them separated, which is kind of
Oh,
disgusting in my opinion for a paid
that's
product.
not
Yeah,
that ain't how it's supposed to be.
yeah. And then I
No.
also did try. I'm currently on a trial for Azuki, which as an app has been kind of horrendous. Um, it's not that pretty looking. Licenses are basically the same as Mangamo, but there's no in-app like search button, so you really have to go through like browse the whole collection if you want
Oy.
to try and find something.
Hmm.
And they want $5 a month for this, so I can't recommend that.
Yeah, that's fair.
No full page spreads, and it's yeah, like there's no favorites, there's no searching. That's just on the app. The website did seem to have more options. Why the fuck are you launching an app then? So
Because you need an app to exist in this space at
yeah,
all.
so this is a little quick update already. Viz Shonen Jump app is still reigning supreme, which is good. That's the stuff that people tend to read weekly the most anyway. And then Mangamo, and then the other one, Azuki. But yeah, more diversity, I guess, in Mangamo in terms of like one shots that don't really go anywhere and kind of keep up with my license holders. But Viz is still holding supreme as quality wise. Anything else, Galen?
Nah, that's it for me.
All right, then. I'm actually going to go ahead and forfeit my time, what we've been watching, and save that for next week because, like I said before, last week was our opening episode. This week, we do want to go ahead and do a little bit of news because are technically a news show. We don't normally, go that hard into it, but this past week has just been a number of labor issues that seem to be happening on there and this changing industry that I feel do need to be addressed. We do want this show to, add to the conversation, not just be about consuming and reporting and, reviewing that. So what we're actually going to go ahead and do then is move on to news for this week. I'm going to go ahead and run through 3 different stories that may seem disconnected, but we're kind of just going to go ahead and give you all of them for the sense of a feel of what's happening in the stream right now and why some of it should be concerned. Starting off with probably the most disjointed of them all, this is going to be from Anime News Network from Kim Morrissey. Anime director Shinji Takamatsu discusses influence of Chinese streaming on anime production schedules. Beginning with Cute High Earth Defense Club Love and Robi Hachi director Shinji Takamatsu posted a popular tweet on Saturday regarding the influence of China on the production schedules of recent television anime. His tweet thread is translated below as follows. Excuse me. Anime these days has a long production period. It's difficult to anticipate when it peaks. It used to be busiest during the broadcast. Nowadays, there are more cases where all the episodes have to be delivered at once. The main reason for this is because they have to go through a content check in China, or for China. It's necessary for this check to take place 3 months before the broadcast in cases where it's difficult to be profitable domestically. It's essentially to sell it overseas. Yesterday, I had a meeting for a work that we're aiming to broadcast in fall next year, and another one for spring the year after. But isn't this a strain on the schedule? Sheepish smile. If we at the studio are told deliver all episodes 3 months before the broadcast, then we have no choice but to make it according to that deadline. We don't have the authority to decide how to do business with it. The tweet was accumulated over 1.3 thousand retweets as of Monday. Takamatsu has previously provided commentary on anime industry problems and budgets. So, for a lot of people who just wanted to say a small recap before we go in there, in terms of why you might be getting a lot of shows kind of like in half seasons, part of it is the fact that anime, as it becomes more successful overseas in different governments, places like China, where they want to be able to review all the content, or I should say the government wants to review all the content before it is given to the masses, they want the full thing done. So you're getting things produced and put together in a way that makes it all launchable at once, effectively. Let's see here, but moving on from that, let me see here. This is a smaller one that you wouldn't think too much of the story as a whole itself, but this is something that has to be serious in terms of what's going on. This is also from actually all these stories are from Kim Morrissey. Kim Morrissey doing all the goddamn work. Much ups to them at Anime News Network. So I'm a Spider, So What? CG assistant addresses production issues around delayed finale. Noya Fukushi, who served as a CG assistant to Tengu Kobu on Soma Spider So What, anime took to Twitter last Friday to explain the show's production issues in the wake of the delay of the 24 episode. His tweets are translated as follows. There are lots of insensitive tweets from people who don't know the production situation. The outsourced animation on multiple episodes completely broke down, and Milipensi, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. I think it is Milipensi, had to redo it all from scratch. The staff ended up being too busy for the latter episodes that were set aside for them, which is a large reason for the poor quality. The staff are quite literally killing themselves to deal with this. Please be patient with the delay. I do agree with the sentiment that regardless of the situation at the studio, what ultimately matters is what gets broadcasted. No matter what the reason, missing broadcast is heavily frowned upon. But I made this tweet because I just wanted people to know that my friends at I just wanted people to know that my friend's studio is battling desperately for the sake of this anime, and the people who are slinging insults won't stop until someone takes their own life. And that's a big thing. So this goes back to another story we covered as required reading of Crunchyroll Originals, which Soma Spider So What is a part of a few weeks ago, and kind of detailing of the situation involving groups like Funimation, Crunchyroll, Netflix, and the like, all basically agreeing and assigning these projects to different animation studios without much mindset into how is this going to be produced. Seemingly only because we have an article about it, the biggest perpetrator of this being Crunchyroll and the Crunchyroll original program, where they are just taking licenses up and up to get some kind of ownership of it and then have it produced in a schedule, whether it involves, like in this case, outsourcing, at which point the main studio is behind it, who already has so many of the head projects to do, is getting the short end of the stick if something falls down. In this case, where the outsourcing completely broke down and had to fall on the main studio to go ahead and get the work done. Just real quick, we'll move on to the final story and get, kind of just go over everything itself. Don't ever fucking insult a studio or complain to them about the fact that something got delayed for some reason other than, actually for any reason. You should never be insulting people for doing their jobs best they can. At all. Much less to the point of trying to push someone to take their own life. Like, if you ever have done that, you're a fucking garbage-ass person.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to be upset that something's delayed, be upset that something's delayed. But, like, don't go adding people. Don't go sending direct messages. Don't go emailing people directly. Shout about it into the void on your own fucking platform. Make yourself a nuisance to the people that follow you. Don't get in people's face. They're just trying to work. Look, you probably have some sort of job, and whether you're an influencer or you're fucking, just trying to make ends meet at a real shitty corporate-owned fast food joint, you know how garbage your job is. Now imagine if you had to do something that someone other than the one end user is going to, look back at you for.
Absolutely. And even as an example of that, the prior week, when I basically put down the hate I did for Godzilla Singular Point, I may have really disliked that series deeply. I don't fucking put that on anyone in the studio. It's just a product I ended up not liking. You don't throw that kind of shit directly at someone, saying how fucking dare they do something, or complaining that their work was not adequate to your taste or desires. You didn't like something, or you found something, unenjoyable. That's your opinion. It is not their obligation to make something just for you, and it's not. You don't have the right to just directly insult them and berate them and belittle them because you did not enjoy something or something is an inconvenience to you that is ultimately just a form of entertainment. You don't have a right
Yeah.
to that. You have a right to opinion. You don't have a right to fucking attack people.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos, you've known me for how long? I have vehemently hated shows before. I've never once thought about taking it straight to someone who wrote or worked or drew for a show. You
Mhm.
know, like that's stupid. I can hate something till the cows come home. I can maybe not watch something that writer or director makes again, but I'm not fucking finding their email or their production studio and sending them hate mail. I'm just sitting here being fucking angry. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like even at my most toxic, I was not out there going at people. Like be as mad as you want to your friends and anyone who will listen, but like don't fucking go straight to people over shit like that. You know, a lot of these things, especially anime projects that are worked with huge, fairly big studios, and then numerous other studios that there are just outsourced the content to, just like, oh, we need you to draw some shit that looks like this and have it move this way. Those are people who, there's so much outsourcing in the fucking industry that like there's so many hands that touch shit that like are not, you know, directly in that studio whose name gets like thrown on there like at the
and
end or,
and
or
even then,
in the
whose
beginning.
job isn't even quality? Their job is finishing it, is to get
Mm-hmm.
something done. So much of like, if you're new to this, I'm sorry to break the illusion, but one of the biggest known secrets in the animation industry, whether it be CG, hand animated, especially anime as a whole, the conditions are sometimes subhuman. Like a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
some of your favorite things definitely have blood on those fucking reels, and that's something we have to be mindful. And a part of like what we'll kind of go into with this next story before the final one, before we go into everything itself. Once again, Kim Morrissey from Anime News Network. Anime animator Ippei Ichi says Netflix anime produced at MAPPA paid bottom rates. This was updated a little bit. We're gonna get kind of skim around here. Animator Ippei Ichi opened up about money matters on Twitter, claiming that animators were being offered bottom rates on production at a Netflix anime made at MAPPA. His tweet is translated as follows. Apparently, a producer working on a Netflix anime made at MAPPA suggested paying 3,800 yen, around $34 US per cut. The budget for the TV series between 3,800 to 7,000 yen. So if you accept that offer, the unit price for animators would go down. Heads up, if you're asked, I think it's best to negotiate for 15,000 yen, around $134 US or more. So before we go any further, this person was offered a rate of $34 per working, and the actual what it should have been would have been 134, $100 difference. Just to give you an
Mm-hmm.
idea of the wages going around here and how money breaks down. Okay, going back on. He then clarified, to avoid misunderstanding, I have to say that my issue is with Netflix. For all the exorbitant amount of capital they have, it's a problem that they've started to place orders with such low rates. There is a possibility that the prices are even lower than a TV series. We will get more into that in a second. Freelance animator Zaid commented, the use of 4,500 yen per cut is already bad enough. What is Netflix thinking allowing to pay less than the average? In May, a freelance animator tweeted that they left MAPPA due to factory-like conditions. They criticized MAPPA's decision to work on 4 shows at the same time instead of properly training its team so that such corrections wouldn't be necessary, and said, as far as I can tell, about 80% of the employees had similar complaints at the time. This was another story on Animated News Network. We didn't get to cover it around the time, but I do remember that story. It was around the time that Yasuke was going in, because that was kind of when Mappa's name was blowing up, because they had Yasuke, they had Attack on Titan. I believe they'd also getting still some work or comments about Jujutsu Kaisen and things of that nature. So it was a name getting thrown more, and people were starting to wanting to make sure, hey, just so you know, this is how that happens. And just basically to give you an idea, so I'm not going to read through this whole entire thing on here. on here, but just to give you an idea of like what's going on in terms of MAPPA and their decisions. Groups like MAPPA have, well, at times to get a single thing done, work with studios like I'm seeing almost 3 different studios just to get one work done
Hmm.
on all of their projects. So studios Nas, Science Saru, South Korea studio Mer, I think it's abbreviated, but I can't get the full definition at this point. And Netflix of how many shows they're going ahead and putting together. Since they announced their production with Project IG, they offered the sets company Wit Company and Bones in 2018. They've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and still growing of just ordering products left and right altogether for the sake of, oh, what seems like we don't need to pay high wages because we're offering you so much work over a set period of time. Which, fuck you.
Yeah,
on
100%.
on so many different levels. The last bit I want to go into is a small update they had at the end of it. An animator claimed to have paid to have been paid 250 yen, about $2 in the US, for in-between animation at a subcontracting studio for a film project made by a company that recently made a viral PV. That they commented that the work was extra demanding because it was a film project that required a high degree of polish. This is kind of like a big thing. And this is a story that kind of relates to what we had, like I said before, the prior reading a few weeks ago of Crunchyroll originals and the mess that they're in. What is in there that we did not get to go over is a situation of a lot of these streaming groups like Funimation, like Crunchyroll, like Netflix, things of that nature, are basically putting in all these orders for all these different series almost years in advance just to get some ownership of it. But because they're doing that, they are then making contracts that we will likely never see light of day of outside of direct industry hands that just make it so that the work schedule for them is near impossible to truly maintain, because it's not only just heavily relying on third party contractors or cleanup crews, things of that nature. It's effectively not possible without them on an actual
Yeah.
human scale. And even at that, they're not being seemingly paid proper wages for the sake of, well, we've got you so much work going in, why do you need to get a high wage when you have money incoming? And like some people, I feel, because you've been here for a while, you hear our coverage on things like the Funimation Crunchyroll purchase or merger. I have taken a stance before of I don't worry about the term monopoly for that, for the sake of how rights work. There's not even safeguards, but it's the way that legalese works. I'm not too worried about monopoly in the sense of rights and that kind of a merger in that sense. But this thing right here, is what terrifies me about that possible eventuality. Because what this ultimately does, and it even comments, once again, that old article required reading on Anime News Network for the Crunchyroll originals, is the groups that are animating this won't really be affected by it. They're going to be just a new, basically, corporate overlord demanding their projects. What does terrify me about it, though, because I kind of disagree with that now, getting a bigger picture of it, of they will be affected by it, because this is effectively the less people fighting over rights, the less competition there is in terms of paid wages and working conditions.
Hmm.
That is what terrifies me about it, and that is what I'm looking at more so when it comes to that. I'm not worried about rights. I think there's too much legalese to really ever become a monopoly in that sense. That really is fearful of that. My concern is the fact that the working conditions for these people behind the animes we all claim to love and go crazy about so much, they have nowhere else to go. It's either you agree to the conditions of the working contract you have with one group, or you don't work. Because even if you went to a different animation studio, they might be under the same contract by that same company with the same
Yep.
conditions. And that is terrifying.
Yeah, it sucks and it's bad. Like, that's kind of where I was. That's kind of where a lot of my fear for the consolidation goes, because there are so many, like we've said, there are so many like things that Crunchyroll has gone out and requested, or like Netflix signing these deals with these studios for so many projects or whatever. You have less studios here that are the overseas market is huge for anime now. Like, it's not just they're not just making their money in Japan.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Or even the US.
now yeah, exactly. More than, yeah, it's more than Japan, it's more than the US, but like, what happens when a Chinese company ends up putting in on that, and how much money are they going to be asking? And when those start getting consolidated, that's even less things, less people out there setting a wage thing, and then, suddenly everybody's paying shit. So it's like that's the real trickle down, is the shit. everything gets consolidated and you have nowhere to go, so you have to just sit under the same thing with everybody else and get nothing.
Exactly. And what terrifies me about it is the fact that we get MAPPA's name dropped so often here. MAPPA just had their big reveal event of like not even a week ago, almost.
Uh,
No, but just over a week
2 weeks,
ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
It was 2
2 weeks
weeks ago.
ago, where they announced, and we all saw the actual animation for a full series order of Chainsaw Man, which looks amazing and awesome. Then you have to stop looking about the working condition. This is getting to a point now. Like, at what point are we gonna get that story of like just how bad things really are? At what point is it a matter of like almost calling for boycotts on certain studios or certain contracts or producers for the sake of like you're getting this made straight with like it feels so weird and still so dirty to be like understanding like in the animation industry itself that there probably is blood on there, but it's just piling up more and more, almost into a flood, to a
Yeah.
point of
I
like
mean,
this is getting, it has been ridiculous, but it's just becoming. I think what's terrifying about it is how they don't seem to care about these
yeah.
stories getting out.
I mean, nothing changes. It's been no secret that there are plenty of productions that are, have people in stress working conditions, overworking themselves, not getting paid overtime because they're paid by cut, for and by like in between animations. So there's no you're paid by what you produce, not how long it took you to do it. So it's like, it's already fucked in that manner.
Yeah,
So
I
I don't know. It's been a problem in the anime industry for years, but I don't want to say it's nice that these stories are coming out, but the more these stories come out, hopefully the more that like people do get up in arms over this stuff, and maybe things change. Maybe they don't, but
it's
can't be silent on this stuff. You gotta.
more knowledge is never a bad thing in a situation, because even someone on Twitter made a good point recently of like when they went ahead and had, I believe it was the director of Attack on Titan who came through on the MAPPA stage to show off their image of the season that they're working on, and had incredibly, very baggy, damaged eyes. It seemed like very tired, and people were joking. And one person making the claim was like, "It's ridiculous and heartbreaking that not only a few weeks ago we were all mourning the loss of someone as influential and important to the industry as a whole as Kintaro Miura, and then making jokes for clout about this director who seems to truly have a ragged body from the production work that's going on with
Hmm.
himself and his team." And that's a big thing of like, this is like, these are things you have to be aware of. And that's why, like more often than not, you'll hear us just on this podcast just talk about what we've been watching, kind of keep it lighter, kind of keep it more free on there. But these are big things we have to be aware of in the industry, because this is something that we love and we have responsibility to call it out when this is just getting more and more
Yeah,
not
I
even
want I
obvious.
want
Just
more
like,
anime with less human cost.
yeah,
And you know what? You know what? Fuck it. I'll take less anime as long as we're having less human cost.
even
Let's do
as
that.
yeah, like even at that, as someone who like watches an anime a week for the sake of the podcast and whatnot, I still am missing so much more for the sake of it just isn't necessary. Like,
Hmm.
I understand the strength of the industry itself, but after a certain point, you have to realize like how much do you actually watch, because that just
Hmm.
isn't like, quality doesn't matter. It's just a matter of like, this over absorption or this oversaturation of anime production just seems pointless for the sake of like, who the fuck are you making all of this for every single time? You can just make things, you can just make less things, plain and simple. Like it's just ridiculous, and these are things that need to be understood. Like, how
I
do I
mean,
put it?
this is what happens with every entertainment industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a million billion people overworked in Hollywood. There's people that deserve much more pay than the famous fucking actors. But hey, that's not how things go.
That's not the selling point for the movie. Uh,
Exactly. It doesn't matter that 3/4 of a blockbuster hit is CG. The they're not the people making most of the movie aren't getting paid basically a fair share of the profits or work. It's kind of nuts. It's in everything, and you just got to recognize it, and don't be complacent. You can still watch anime. We're not saying not watch anime or whatever, but when you see stories like this, pass them along. Talk to your friends about it.
like, I know it may seem sometimes that we can come down hard critically, and just for reviewers or anyone who speaks about anime itself, like coming down critically on something you might love. A lot of that is for the sake of like, yeah, it's okay to be critical, because you should care a little bit more than just consuming. Like it doesn't. This is not a pressure on you to be hypercritical of something, but it's also a reminder like you don't have to be hyper positive about things either. You can have a critical eye for things and still enjoy them. You can still understand the flaw and the deeper like relationship of the workers behind the things you love, and try to notice these things, because just being a consumer isn't necessarily kind of the best thing. Like this isn't a call for you to for people to like boycott things or uh avoid things or talk down to studios. Like we just said, attacking these studios does nothing because they're just trying to complete their work. Whereas all these production groups or co-producer even basically they slap their name on this product somebody else is working and then giving them all these time frames to work with. Like that's ridiculous. Like sometimes it's just not worth the blood on the reels and the pages.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
So on that one, folks, no, it's a bit of a more depressing one, but it's important. It's important to understand. It's important to have the conversations. You've got to be aware of them. You got to take a moment to think about it. You really do. And just please keep that in your mind. Think of the production teams and the actual studios behind your favorite anime, and just consider what really is what's their working conditions, what's behind it, and never forget that like they are humans doing this.
Yeah, these people doing in betweens and people doing small cuts or whatever. You don't know who's gonna end up one day break out and be like that one animator that everybody's talking about that does like this one scene. But it's like they can't get to that point if they're burned out, broken, and beaten, and end up just being done with the whole thing, or worse. So it's just one of those things where it's like we will get more talent out of less overworked people.
Yep.
Over the long haul. So we can only hope.
Better human conditions always equals better product.
Also, I mean, and this is a thing that I have a hard time speaking to because this is all hearsay on my end. But I mean, in general, like Japan needs better. I believe needs better societal looks at off time, vacations, things like that. Vacations are part of work, unfortunately. They help you recharge, they help you reset. People need more vacations. People need to understand that taking vacations is a good thing. I just know that there's a big, work culture in Japan of not taking vacations and stuff. And here's the shitty part. Most of the people doing animation and stuff, they take a vacation, it ain't paid. They're contracted. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of times it's work or die, and that sucks shit too. So but that's a lot of things here too. People, I mean, as someone currently on a paid vacation, who doesn't have problems taking time off from work, I wish everybody had my situation.
Hey, as someone who left a very corporate, very well-paying job just recently to focus on more things like these creative endeavors and learning more skills, I did all that for the sake of, yeah, I couldn't do it while on the clock. I couldn't do it while working the job because it just didn't work that way. It's just it was not humanly possible. So please just always like even for yourselves as well. Like do not praise the grind. Like when there are days like I'm our main editor on things on there when I'm just going there hours on and working things up until late hours at night. I'm not doing that at all, or no one should be doing that really in terms of for the love of the grind and grind culture and trying to get a bag or something like that. That's a matter of like it's something you might be you're passionate about and you want to work on it, and sometimes it just has to get done. But that is not a matter of you're like you enjoy that, you want that to be normal. Like it's in fact of the matter is like that's just kind of the case it is right now. The goal is to get to a point where that is not the case. Even like as someone who's been, in 3D animation, who's now doing audio editing, video editing, of that nature, like don't praise that shit. Like just constantly working is never even equals a good product. So much of what we've done growing here, even on this podcast itself, has been from stopping to take a moment to talk to each other about what we are doing and how things can get better, not just finding a method and plugging away at it. That's just not how you grow something. That's not healthy. It's not productive at all. Like just should not view things in that way. You need rest. You need sleep. You need time to think clearly about whatever it is you're doing, whether it be just working a job.
Yeah, mostly in my experience, the people who praise the grind are the people who can afford to just suddenly stop for any fucking reason. And I know that ain't most fucking people.
Yeah. So absolutely. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and let go of news for this week. once again, just please always keep those things in mind. We're not asking you to go ahead and go out and start a petition. I mean, if you do, though, more power to you, absolutely. But we do want to make sure that those stories, when they do happen, they start accumulating, that we take a moment to reflect on them and put them out there for us all to go ahead and keep in the back of our minds. And we will move on to catalog updates. Gallant, you'll be taking over for this one?
Yep. So for catalog updates, Funimation is adding life lessons with Uramachi Oji-san, and then as well as Kakeki Shoujo, the Duke of Death and his maid. The detective is already dead. Dungeon of the Black Company is on July 9th. Love Live Superstar is July 11th. Wow, there's another Love Live. Is that the 4th?
I
Good
think
Lord.
so. I was gonna rely on you for that.
Jesus.
It was in there. I had a date. It said anime. I was like, well, okay, I'll put it
I
on
haven't
there.
even watched the second season of the second Love Live set, and I know there's been a third. So,
Oh Jesus.
whew. Yeah. And then also, I guess they announced Taisho Maiden Fairy Tale for October.
Pending, but yeah, they announced it. It was a weird thing.
Okay. On High Dive, they've added Getarobo, as well as Suki Pro the Animation 2. Then Retro Crush is adding AD Police to Protect and Serve, July 9th. Fuck the cops. As well as Gravitation and Gravitation Lyrics of Love on July 16th. And Karate Master is being added on July 23rd. Then we've got a couple different ones here for Crunchyroll's catalog. They're adding Battle Game in 5 Seconds, as well as Seirei Gensoki, Spirit Chronicles in the summer, The Night Beyond the Tricornered Window in October. The World's Finest Assassin gets reincarnated in a different world as an aristocrat in October. For some reason, I think I've heard that one is very funny. Oh, and Restaurant to... I'm sorry?
I was saying I've heard that too. Go
on. Okay. Restaurant to Another World, Season 2, and Sakukugan in October. God, these are... I'm sorry. In the Land of Lidole is set for January of next year. And then Orient is TBD. So
yeah, I know. I for anyone wondering, like, why is we have separate between announcements, catalog updates, and new dates. The actual catalog updates, those are things that I have found online that were proven and promised to either have an official date to go ahead and go on to one of the streaming services, and in other words, they have claimed the rights to go ahead and show them they know the time period, or they are if they're not given a date, they're already on there by the time we read them off. If you have a date, that's when they will be available. And they have things like months or seasons. It's because there's probably a date out there, but for some reason or other, due to the contract, they're not saying what it is. In terms of things like Orient, I will probably be all over because it is the next work after Magi from the creator of Magi itself, and I really love that series. And Crunchyroll was like, yeah, no, we want that. We want the rights for it, and they announced it real early, and who knows when I have the last trailer I saw it is still just colored pages of the manga. So that's how that goes. In case you're wondering, that's why they're kind of labeled the way they are. And anything in the actual new dates area are dates we have for Japan to give us an idea of what that might mean for the US at some point. That's the difference, just so anyone's wondering. And from there, we will go ahead and move on to new announcements. In terms of new announcements, we have One Piece, not that one, an actual book group. One Piece Books launches the Rising of Shield Hero audiobook. That is going to go ahead and be... That's taking too long to load for some reason. Yeah, okay. So you can go ahead and find out on Amazon, Apple Books, Audible, Nook, Audiobooks, and Spotify. So if you want to go ahead and get into that joint venture, it seems, of audiobooks for light novels coming out, there you go. That's one of the first right there. Rising of the Shield Hero. Let's see here. Next up, Strike the Blood gets a 5th and final OVA season. Haven't announced the exact location of it, but in case you're a fan of that, it is out there. This is the one I'm really excited for, and I hope I get to partake. I hope I get to partake in this so much. Belle is Mamoru Hosada's first film to get IMAX screenings. Just from the trailers of that movie itself, it looks fucking massive. So the idea of being able to go ahead and see it in the IMAX is something I am all about. Once again, I fully admit it. I am a big Hosada fan. It's my favorite films in anime. and I can't wait for this. I really do
I
hope
wonder
we
if
get.
that's the trailer that someone was paid $250 to work on.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's not on the MAPPA.
I
It's not on the MAPPA. It's not on the MAPPA.
Was that part specifically Mappa though? I thought that was just they worked on a trailer and were paid $250.
Let me double check just to make sure.
We don't have to get into it because I don't know if Mappa has had any like movie trailers come out.
It might be, in all honesty. It might be.
I mean,
They
it's just it said high profile, and I was like, it doesn't get much more high profile than.
Yeah, I mean, there has. I will fully admit that this might be the case of it, and I might have to look into that. But that might be a case of, you know, films don't. Not a whole lot have been coming. Actually, no, a fair number of films have released PVs here in the past few months, but
Yeah.
we'll see. It could be any one of them,
Anyway,
but that is
sorry,
something to
I
be
did
that's
not
something
mean
to be
bring
aware
that
of.
down.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I understand. It's important. Like I said, it's important to know. It's important to know. Next up, Crunchyroll adds the relative worlds to the movie night at home series. Apparently, I was not aware of this, but Crunchyroll, I guess, is working on agreements to go ahead and show certain movies on their website and their app that would normally be in theaters or whatever for. It's not saying a short period of time because I didn't get a begin date and end date necessarily, but it's already on there if you want to enjoy it. Go have fun with that. They have other things coming in there, such as Promare, Giovanni's Island, May May Miracle, Fireworks, Tokyo Marvel Chronicles, 7 centimeters per second, Your Name, Children Who Chase Lost Voices, and The Place Promised in Our Early Days. So those are the things going out basically for over the next year in time, effectively. So if you want, Anime News Network does have a full list of that, but I assume Crunchyroll will have it as well. So that's a whole thing going on. I was not even aware of that. So enjoy.
Cool.
That is for the US, UK, and Ireland. I don't know if I'm saying this one twice in one go, but I might be. You let me know, Gallant. Shin Iki Tozen Battle Vixens manga is getting a anime in 2022. Let's see here.
Okay, yeah, Ikitosen. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. I didn't know if they meant like it should be one or the other, or they mean the same thing, but yeah.
It's the series is Ikitosen, Shin Ikitosen as I guess the new product, and I think it has been called Battle Maidens here.
Okay.
For quite a while, so that's just the localized name. Yeah.
Okay. Madhouse unveiled an original anime film called Goodbye Dawn Glees. This apparently, I believe this is the one that was set in Ireland, yeah. Or no, in Iceland. So there's nothing else to know about that, but they want you to be hype for Iceland. So go get them. Turnabout World's Battery Girl Rumble Grandal is getting a October debut. So for that one, that's pretty cool. This is the for description of it. Let me read it real quick. This is real quick. This is some very, very high commentary on Japan, I believe, right now that we here in the West aren't fully aware of, but I've heard rumors of. But the story begins in 2019, just before the change in historical eras for Japan. A rift opens, another dimension suddenly opens in the sky. A rift to another dimension suddenly opens in the skies above, revealing a turnabout alternate world called Shinkoku Nippon. This parallel version of Japan maintained its militarism and remained stuck in the Showa era. Shinkoku Nippon invades our Japan with its Genmu gas weapons, on which our own modern weapons have no effect. And giant humanoids Garin weapons, the invaders immediately take over our government and all but conquer Japan. As a result, all Japan never ushers in the Reiwa era. Decades later, our Japan has been revamped as Gengoku Nippon, a puppet state of Shinkoku Nippon. Under harsh censorship, the once thriving manga, anime idol, and similar subcultures have completely died off, or so it seems. I'll admit, it looks like some quality on there, and also really fucking crazy, and probably going to be way deeper than we realized on first viewing. So, because I know militarism in Japan in recent, from my understanding, political parties are something of some note and worry among them. So keep an eye on that.
I mean, as someone who enjoys Gate, that was funded by the JSDF, I believe. Like part of the it's part of the production funds for that show were ponied up by the Japan Self Defense Force.
Yep.
Because it's basically propaganda. Anyway.
Nope, understandable. Next up, we finally got an announcement and trailers for Star Wars Visions anime shorts. They're going to begin on September 22nd on Disney Plus. That is a weird title. I'm glad I edited that because as odd as I sounded, it could have been worse. So just to go over them, for the people behind them and the actual name themselves. So first up, The Duel by Kamikaze Doga. This is going to be from director Japan Animator Expo. Lop in Ocho by Geno Studio, Twin Engine. Tatooine Rhapsody by Studio Colorido, Twin Engine, about a rock band and the unexpected friendship within, with appearances by Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. The Twins by Trigger. Now, about twins of the dark side and how far a brother will go to save a sister. For this one stands out a little bit because this is gonna be. Let me get the later.
The brother looks straight up like Leo from Promare, which is hysterical to me.
Yes, that is all true. That is all true. The reason it's not a new date is because I want to, this particular story itself, announce that there's a possibility that for the animator for that one is going to be Masahiko Otsuka, and he has stated that this might be his last creative work before retiring from the industry.
Oh.
And Gallon, I believe you actually know the individual talking about what the significance is. I believe this is the individual who made the animation for transforming of Gurren Lagann and then left to go help fund, co-found Studio Trigger.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is possibly going to be the last thing he does.
Things that they was Gurren Lagann like the last thing he worked on before he left?
Yeah. After he left during that, and it seems like to go. Go ahead.
I need to go and look at like the timeline of that because like that was another case of that transformation sequence is in episode 4 of Gurren Lagann, and episode 4 is this goofy, weird, like whole set piece, and people fucking hated it. Like that was one of the, I don't want to say one of the original, but that was one of the like bigger like internet era like people blowing up about how could you do this to this show, blah blah blah, and it's like it was goofy, like to contrast the cool transformation sequence. People don't get it. I get it that people are stupid, but yeah, that was original Twitter, like that was original Twitter harassment and stuff of like the team that worked on that episode. So I'm super looking forward to you know what they're gonna do with this Star Wars short. But
Absolutely.
man, the last thing they do, shit.
That's insane to me.
They might do cuts or like things on things, but like I can see them officially leaving the industry in like a full-time capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you know someone digging them out, you know, for something special in the future.
One last ride.
But, yeah, you always have one last ride, right? Like fucking, how many times has Miyazaki retired? You know, but like that's cool. Like you know, getting his own short to like work on and do sounds great.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw some because there's a trailer out for the entirety of Star Wars Visions that shows all the pieces of work that's going on. It did look pretty fucking clean. That might be the best one on there, depending. Because like I feel like because like you said, like the wackiness of that episode 4 and Gurren Lagann and everything that was in the actual animation behind that. Like if we get something that goofy in Star Wars, which is something that I love. I love goofy Star Wars, but also insanely fucking epic Star Wars because they go hand in hand. I don't care what anyone fucking says. That's when it's at its best. So seeing that, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Like I saw that, and then the character designs. I'm like, man, they really just have the character designer.
I mean,
who's all about that style right now.
If you're potentially going out, why not go out on your favorite design, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's so funny. I'm absolutely in love. Like Trigger do Trigger. Like I'm very glad that they've had the freedom to you know work on things that they've ostensibly wanted to, and they've all been fairly good.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say I've been a fan of all Trigger's work, but you can always see like the uniqueness in it. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, their last couple ones, fucking Premiere and oh god, what was
New Beast Animal or something like that.
Oh yeah, Brand New Animal. Like
Brand New
both
Animal.
of those hit on every level for me. So
Mm-hmm.
and actually the series for Little Witch Academia was way better than I thought it was going to be. That was like maybe the first one of theirs like that I was like, oh, I'm 100% behind everything happening here. So yeah, that's great. More Trigger is never bad, and it's gonna be a good fucking time.
Okay, next up, also from Trigger, is going to be The Elder, a homage to the relationship between Master and Padawan. So it'd be nice to see somebody else like that instead of just Star Wars nerds, because I feel like they kind of don't get that a lot of times. The Village Bride by Kinma Citrus, featuring traditional Japanese culture of mountains. Yeah. That okay. Uh,
Sounds
Akakiri,
good.
about a Jedi and a princess, but not the ones we have known. So probably another homage to that, which I'm about. Whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
TOB1, about a cute droid inspired by the works of Osamu Tezuka, particularly Astro Boy. Yeah, I saw that. That looks pretty cute. That looks pretty cute. That is also highlighted in
Hold
the
on, hold
video.
on, hold on. You cannot make something in the Star Wars universe named OB1 and not okay. There's something going on there. All I'm saying.
TOB1. TOB1.
Yeah, but it's in there. All I'm saying.
Shh. That's supposed to be the thing they find out at the end. It's Dr. Acula. Uh, the Ninth Jedi by Production IG, about Jedi who need to come back, reunite, and restore the galaxy. I don't know if they're using that in the plural or singular. I feel like they should have said a, but whatever. Yeah, so that was coming out as well. And once again, if you want to catch clips of all of this and things of that nature, there is a trailer out that I probably should have been playing this entire time for you, but I didn't, so my bad. I'll fix it in editing, possibly. Hey, it has something to do with the video editing. Anyway, but yeah, it's out there. It's called Star Wars Vision Special Look Disney Plus. Definitely give it a view. I'm excited to see this. I love Star Wars, and in this age, while I'm not a fan necessarily of the bigger licensed products that are going out there, all the side stuff going on with Star Wars right now, I deeply, deeply love. I love when Star Wars gets weird. I love it so deep.
When Star Wars gets, I mean, personally, when Star Wars gets out of the Skywalker butthole, it gets real good.
Yeah, like if you fall in love with the Star Wars universe, then you went beyond the Skywalker story. The Skywalker story is like the bigger story on there, but it is not all that has built Star Wars. There's so much more to it. Next up, now I might be saying this one incorrectly. I tried going through a few things, reviewing a few things. I couldn't really get the official name for it just yet, so I'm kind of makeshifting this title. So bear with me here. Macross Delta Film Frontier Short will have a fall debut. So I don't know what the official name of that is, but I believe there's going to be a short before a new Macross film that is going to be debuting in fall. I'm sorry I'm getting that wrong. I read the article. I couldn't really get a hang of it. I'm sorry. The Ultraman anime is getting a full series DVD release in September. This would include both the animated and live actions. They did announce then, and final for the announcements, they did show off Tales of Arise's opening animation. And I know I mentioned it here recently, a few episodes ago, how down on Arise I have been. I actually have done a full 180 on that. I am very much looking for Arise now. I am down with everything they're doing, and I'm excited to see what happens. Huh?
Who paid you?
I don't know, and I'm still trying to find somebody to do it. With the way I did that 180 is like, man, they apparently had an ambassador program going on. It's like, ooh, you couldn't have said this earlier. Like, you couldn't maybe believe her sooner. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I know the V2. I saw the VTuber who's the ambassador right now. Great work, yeah. Absolutely, completely understand. Much love to them. Absolutely. I could have done more, but he just didn't sell me originally. And you want more thoughts on that? You actually have to go ahead and wait until tomorrow when we have the video game podcast here at twitch.tv/CLSP called VG Weekly Roundup. Every Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Once again, we go ahead and go over the week's best video game news, at least in our opinion, and what we've been playing. So if you want my opinions on that and so much more, be there for that. Once again, that's two shows, same channel.
Plug the other show in the middle of the show.
Give me the sub. We have two shows on here. Give me the goddamn sub. You already paid for it. Anyway, moving on to new dates.
Also, big shout outs to Kiara being the ambassador for Tales. Is it just like the content like about the game that she dropped that's actually good? Like actually getting a preview of what's happening?
I mean, I'll be honestly giving like. No, I mean, it's cool. Like I said, big ups to them. I didn't stick around for the entire thing, but I'm just down with anybody who really does love Tales and is out there showing the love for it. It was totally cool what they were doing with it in terms of like just showing off the trailers. They had exclusive content. Apparently, I did not stick around for that because I was already sold after one YouTuber who put out a video basically giving me the full details of how the combat and other things are going to work. That really changed my mind. Once again, I'm not giving that to you right now. You don't get it. Nice try, Gallon, trying to get that to them for free. But no, you have to be here tomorrow if you want to have my opinion on that. But in terms of the VTuber, good work. Honestly, good work. Very good work.
Well, that's good. I was just wondering if you like saw something or heard something about the combat that like changed your mind, because I knew
Yes.
that was a big sticking point. Okay, that's good then.
There
I'm happy for you.
There is a specific YouTube video I will send to you after the show if you would like that completely changed my mind. I think actually you would probably dig the combat they're doing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it. Like, every time a Tales game comes out, I'm like, I'm gonna get back into it. It just never fucking happens.
I believe this could possibly be one of the best Tales games they've ever made at this point now. So from where I was, I have been now turned to this could possibly
insane.
Be the best.
The way that from where you came from, yeah, that's incredible. You went off on 2 different podcasts about that, so everyone's heard it.
And I would not shut the fuck up about it on Twitter either. So, like,
no, yeah. You know what? That's the thing. I always want that to happen. I would love to be fucking pissed about something and then my mind completely changed. That's the best feeling in the world. Be like, oh shit, I was wrong and this rules. Let's go.
It's my favorite JRPG series. My favorite JRPG series ever. I was upset that I wasn't all about it, but now I kind of am. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. I'm looking forward to. I'm excited for it. I am now here ready to welcome the new change. But once again, if you want further details on it, gotta wait till tomorrow. Twitch.tv/CLOSP. Twitch.tv/CLOSP. New dates for you. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus game is going to be getting the DLC character. Am I saying this right? Seox?
Seox 6, yes.
Seox 6? Is it 6 or Seox? That's 2 different words.
In Japanese, it's 6. All their names in Japanese are like numbers in different languages. Like, I think they put the last. Oh my god, I don't even know his name in English. I just know him as Uno because his name's fucking Uno in Japanese, and that's hysterical to me.
God damn it.
So yeah, it's 6 Seox if it's the translated version. Yeah, he's the punchy cat boy, who I believe he has the same Japanese voice actor as Simone from Gurren Lagann.
That makes sense. Because I'll say right now, the gameplay for him does not look punchy. It looks clawy, has claws. But I think it's the closest I want to get probably to Feather, who I wanted to be the punchy character. So I'm about this. Yeah. When this launches, Gallon, we're going to have to play again. We're going
to have to play the bad netcode again. Yep, I'm in.
Hey, at least you can find a match.
That is true.
And that's July 12th. So we'll see on July 12th in America. So next week, maybe there'll be a stream for it. I'm not promising that, but maybe there will be. Let me see here. And then as well as Yashahime Princess Half Demon Part 2 reveals October 2nd debut. So second part of that is definitely coming. No episode count just yet, but I would assume the same. Either way, I still need to go back at some point this summer and watch all of Inuyasha and then go watch Yashahime because I'm a madman and I will do these things.
You poor person. Don't do that to
yourself. Oh, don't pity me. Pity what's coming next. Amazon Prime to stream the final Evangelion film. Not really, probably, but probably maybe, on August 13th. Save your pity. Give it to an F-fan.
That's fair.
Bell Film is going to make a world premiere at the Canes official selection on July 15th. So real quick, give me one moment here. I just need to check something. Okay, Canes is in... Is that... okay, where is Canes?
Houston?
No, it's in France. Okay, so if I want to see this at the world premiere...
Are you sure it's not the Cannes Film Festival? Like the thing that's happening right now? French drops a lot of last letters.
I might just be saying it wrong. I'm not French.
Okay. Well, I mean, because the film festival's going on right now. Does it have a date?
Yeah, the July 15th.
Yeah, it's probably part of the festival. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So, if I'm not here next week, I'm in French. Where did that come from?
You said French.
Ooh. I mean, I'm more likely to go there than France, to be honest, with my budget. But still, anyway.
That's fries and ranch for anyone who's keeping score.
It's not bad, but it's unhealthy, which is also bad.
I mean, we've all been to Wingstop. Everyone's committed the sin.
Ooh, I got a question about that for you after the show. Anyway, I don't want to say this one. Fine. Sword Art Online Progressive Film will be premiering October 30th. You know what you have to wait to watch, though, right now, if you don't want to, wait for something subpar? You could watch Log Horizon right now. You could just stop the podcast and go watch Log Horizon right now. You don't have to wait. You can just forget all about this movie coming out on, I'm not going to say the date twice. You don't get that. But you could watch Log Horizon. Just Google it. It's out there.
Pushing your agenda, I see.
Not so much as an agenda as conquest for world domination. And finally, for new dates, final 3 Fafnir the Beyond episodes will be getting a November 5th debut. So, for those of you Fafnir fans out there, all 12 of you, I will give you a recap. So, Funimation did license and show the original series in 2004 for the anime Fafnir and the 2010 film Heaven and Earth for them. And then Crunchyroll did both halves of Fafnir Exodus, the sequel series, and that was in 2015. So, who's in charge right now? I don't know. I know I joke about there only being 12 of you, but I know you people are hardcore if you're still waiting on this. So, if I can get you more announcements on that, I will. And that's it for new dates. And required reading, because we have 2 this week. One of them is going to be, both of them are going to be from ANN. This is going to be from Lindsay Loveridge. Peach Boy Riverside anime is airing out of chronological order, and there's a purpose before that. So, if you were watching Peach Boy Riverside, the anime right now, and you notice that it seems to be going out of order compared to what the manga's original work was, there is a reason for that. There's a whole article about it that is actually kind of interesting to go ahead and get an idea for, and it's kind of, in hopes of avoiding an original anime ending, things of that nature. So, I'd recommend it, absolutely. And if you want to go on a deeper dive into the Star Wars Visions from Christopher Ferris at ANN, once again, he has an article, Anime Expo Light 2021 Sneak Preview of Star Wars Visions. It's a whole article kind of going in more detail about the ideas between some of the stories, some of the studios behind them, and things going on there. So definitely recommend that and check that out. Alright, folks, that's going to go ahead and wrap us up for this week. A bit of a longer one. We're still trying to get that down, but it was an important discussion to have. And then I did not realize that Anime Expo Light was happening this past week, and that's why a lot of this stuff came out the way that it did. So, thank you for joining us, as always. We appreciate you being here. Thank you all for the support on the launch, and, we hope to see you next week. Gallant, anything to add?
I think I'm all talked out.
Yeah, I'm about to die too. Anyway, we'll catch you all next week.
Please don't.
Later!
I wish I had something witty to go here.